Welcome to the deep dive. You know, when most people think Wright brothers, they usually land on just one date, December 17th, 1903.
Right, Kitty Hawk, that famous first flight.
Exactly. But today, we want to push past that single moment. We're going to get into something maybe even more important, their method, the systematic way they approached the problem of flight.
Yeah, that's really the core mission here for you today.
Mm-hmm.
The Wrights' genius wasn't just building an airplane, it was solving the puzzle of controlling it.
Uh-huh.
You see, lots of people back then were focused on just building powerful engines, slap on a big motor and hope it flies sort of thing.
Right, more power.
But the Wrights, they realized, power is useless if the pilot can't actually steer the machine, keep it balanced, and bring it back down safely. That focus on reliable control, that was the game changer.
Okay, let's back up a bit then. Where did this all start for them? They were sons of a clergyman.
That's right. And a key moment, apparently, was way back in 1878. Their father brought home this little toy helicopter powered by a rubber band. Sparked their interest early on.
Huh, a toy. And then later, they needed, well, money and skills, right?
Absolutely. And they got both by tapping into the bicycle craze sweeping the nation. They opened the Wright Cycle Company in Dayton. Super successful, actually.
And that wasn't just about funding, was it? The bicycle connection ran deeper.
It really did. Working with bikes gave them this core idea. An unstable vehicle, like a bike, something that wants to fall over, can actually be controlled. It just takes practice and the right inputs from the rider.
So they applied that thinking to flight, that an aircraft didn't need to be inherently stable, like a boat in calm water.
Precisely. They thought it could be inherently unstable but highly maneuverable if you could figure out how the pilot controls it moment by moment. That was a massive conceptual leap away from what others were trying.
And this idea really crystallized after Otto Lilienthal, the German gliding pioneer, had his fatal crash in '96.
Yeah, that was a big wake-up call for them. They saw that Lilienthal had achieved flight, but he hadn't solved control. They decided that was the missing piece, the key problem nobody had cracked yet.
So how did they tackle control? Where did the breakthrough come from?
Well, it started with an observation. Wilbur, in 1899, was just fiddling with an empty inner tube box in their shop.
Okay.
And he noticed how twisting the box changed the angles of the opposite ends. That sparked the idea of wing warping, basically twisting the ends of the wings, one up, one down, to roll the aircraft.
Ah, like controlling the lean.
That gave them roll control, the first axis.
Exactly. But their defining trait was this rigorous scientific method. When their 1901 glider didn't perform like calculations said it should.
They didn't just blame bad luck or tricky winds.
Nope. They questioned the data itself. All the published aerodynamic tables everyone else was relying on, including this thing called the Smeaton coefficient, they suspected it was wrong.
So what did they do? They couldn't exactly order better data online back then?
No. They built their own wind tunnel. Right there in Dayton, between October and December 1901.
Homemade.
Totally homemade. Scrap metal, bits of wood, bicycle spokes, a fan hooked up to a gas engine. Sounds crude, right?
Yeah, incredibly.
But it let them meticulously test hundreds of different miniature wing shapes. Systematically. They gather their own data.
And the DIY wind tunnel work paid off.
Massively. It gave them the most accurate aerodynamic data in the world at that time. And that data led directly to their breakthrough 1902 glider design. It flew beautifully.
Okay, so they had roll control with wing warping and accurate data. What else was needed for the full system?
This is where it all came together. On that 1902 glider, they connected the movable rear rudder to the wing warping controls.
Why link them? I thought the rudder was just for steering, like on a boat.
That's what most people thought. But they discovered something crucial. When you warp the wings to bank into a turn, the wing that's lifted creates more drag.
Okay.
Which makes the nose of the aircraft actually swing away from the turn. It's called adverse yaw. Very dangerous. Makes coordinated turns impossible.
Ah, so the rudder wasn't primarily for steering left or right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
No.
Its job was to counteract that adverse yaw, to keep the nose pointed into the turn, aligning the aircraft properly. Linking the rudder to the wing warping did that automatically.
Wow. Okay. So that coordinated system, wing warping for roll, the front elevator they had for pitch, and this linked rudder correcting yaw, that was the solution.
That was the invention of practical airplane control.
Yeah.
True three-axis control. It's fundamentally the same system used today.
So with control solved, then they needed the power.
Right. They combined that brilliant control system with their own lightweight engine, which their mechanic, Charlie Taylor, built for them, and that's what finally led to that sustained, controlled flight on December 17, 1903.
It really underscores that it wasn't just about getting off the ground, it was about mastering flight itself.
And there's a lesson there that goes beyond just the invention, you know? Orville, later in life, especially after seeing aircraft used in war,
Hmm.
he really grappled with the moral side of it all, the responsibility that comes with creating something so powerful.
That's a heavy thought. The mastery itself raises questions. What happens when you figure out how to control something fundamental, like flight? For you listening, maybe the lesson is that big innovations are rarely simple blessings.
Orville actually drew an interesting parallel himself. He compared the airplane to the discovery of fire.
How so?
He said, and I'm paraphrasing slightly here, "I regret all the terrible damage caused by fire, but I think it is good for the human race that someone discovered how to start fires and that we have learned how to put fire to thousands of important uses."
Wow, that puts it in perspective. Fire can cook your food or burn down your house. The airplane connects the world, but also enables destruction.
It's about the application, the intent, the unforeseen consequences.
So, a final thought to leave you with. If your next big idea, your innovation, is like discovering fire, what unintended consequences do you need to be thinking about right from the start?